Okay, so if you've ever plugged into like a high gain amp, cranked up the distortion,
Oh, yeah.
and then you just hear that sound, that awful hiss or the hum, maybe some buzz creeping in,
He's the worst.
you know exactly how frustrating that is. It can just completely ruin a great tone, right? Especially if you need that powerful, really articulate sound.
Absolutely kills the dynamics sometimes.
Well, today we're going to dive deep into a piece of gear that kind of became legendary for tackling exactly this. Often just had one knob,
Deceptively simple. Yeah.
but it somehow totally redefined noise suppression for guitarists and bassists, the ISP Technologies Decimator.
That's the one.
So what was it? What made this thing so special? How did it, conquer this noise problem that seemed almost impossible before?
Well, it's a great story, actually.
Our mission here is to really unpack that, look at where it came from, the tech behind it, which is pretty cool how it changed over the years with different versions.
The family tree.
And, the impact it had. Why did it become the standard? So this is your shortcut, basically, to understanding the Decimator and how it lets musicians get that tight, super quiet, but still really musical sound.
Sounds good. Where do we start? The beginning.
Yeah, let's go back. The origins.
Okay, so it really starts with the company, ISP Technologies, that stands for Intelligent Signal Processing. And the brain behind it is Buck Waller.
Right, Buck Waller. He wasn't exactly new to this whole noise reduction game, was he?
Not at all. He already made a big mark with the Rocktron Hush system. That was back in the late 80s, early 90s. So he deeply understood the problem, the nuances of noise in a guitar rig.
And people who've been playing a while will remember the older noise gates, right? Things like, say, the Boss NS2. They were around, they tried to help.
They definitely tried.
But they often came with trade-offs, didn't they? That sort of choking feeling where the gate clamps down too hard.
Yeah, or it cuts off the very start of your note, that initial pick attack.
Or the decay just stops dead. Abruptly.
Or sometimes it just messed with your overall tone, sucked the life out of it. It was always a compromise.
You fixed the noise, but you maybe messed up your feel or your sound.
Exactly. And that's where the vision for the Decimator came in. It was designed specifically to get past those compromises.
Okay.
The goal was something much more transparent and more natural sounding. A faster, smoother noise reduction that didn't stomp all over your playing dynamics. It was about letting the music through, just without the junk.
So if the older gates were kind of like blunt instruments.
Yeah, kind of clumsy sometimes.
How did the Decimator become more like a surgical tool? What was the actual tech breakthrough? What made it so much better at being transparent and not choking the signal?
Okay, yeah, the secret sauce. It really comes down to a couple of key things ISP developed. The big one is their algorithm called time vector processing.
Time vector processing. Okay, what does that actually do?
Well, basically, instead of just listening for a volume level to open or close a gate, it's constantly analyzing the envelope of your guitar signal, like the shape of the sound, the attack, the decay.
Ah, okay. So it understands the dynamics better.
Precisely. It monitors it in real time and adjusts the noise suppression smoothly, dynamically. It sort of fades the noise out intelligently as your note decays, rather than just slamming the door shut.
Which avoids that horrible abrupt cutoff you got with the older ones. Lets the note ring out naturally.
Exactly. That's how it tackles the choking problem head on.
Okay, that makes sense for the decay. But what about the core tone? Making sure the guitar still sounds like your guitar. Did processing it like that risk messing with the sound quality itself?
That's a super important point. And they address that too. The Decimator uses something called a linearized VCA, a voltage-controlled amplifier.
Right. VCA.
Its job is basically to handle the level reduction cleanly, to lower the noise without coloring the actual guitar signal that you want to keep. So you get the noise reduction, but you hopefully keep your tone intact. No, tone suck.
Okay, so clean signal path is key. And then there's this super fast tracking thing they talk about. That sounds like it reacts instantly.
It's incredibly fast, yeah.
How does that feel when you're playing? Does it keep up with really quick riffs or sudden stops?
That's exactly what it's for. The fast tracking lets it respond immediately to whatever you're playing.
Yeah.
No matter if it's super fast metal riffs, intricate stuff, or just holding a long, clean note that fades out.
Right.
It adapts instantly.
Right.
It's designed so you don't even notice it working. Ideally, it just gets rid of the noise floor without getting in the way of your dynamics. It should feel seamless.
And what's wild about that original Decimator, the first one, was how simple it looked on the outside.
Totally. One knob, usually.
Just threshold. That's it. And in the pedal versions, you got true bypass, so when it was off, your signal was totally untouched.
Which players always appreciate.
Yeah, and it was built specifically to avoid messing with your tone, minimizing any coloration. It kind of brought this pro-level noise gating down to something anyone could stick on their pedal board.
Yeah, it really did democratize that clean, tight, high-gain sound. Suddenly, you didn't need a complex rack setup to get rid of the noise without wrecking your tone.
Yeah.
It changed expectations.
So that original one set the stage, but ISP didn't just stop there, right? How did the Decimator evolve? What came next?
Good question. So the original pedal and the rack version, the Decimator Pro Rack G, they came up mid-2000s, gained traction really fast because of that performance and simplicity. Then around 2013, they released the Decimator 2.
Okay, Decimator 2, what was the upgrade there?
The main thing was even better tracking performance.
Yeah.
They refined that time vector processing, made it even more responsive, even smoother.
So even more transparent.
Yeah, essentially. But the Pixon also introduced a really clever feature, the link function.
Ah, the link function. Tell me about that.
This lets you connect two Decimator 2 second pedals together using a simple patch cable, like a TRS cable. They then track the signal together, but can be placed at different points in your chain.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, think about it. You could put one decimator right after your guitar, before your distortion pedals or your amp's preamp.
Okay, catching the noise early.
Right. And then you put the second one after all your gain stages, maybe in the effects loop of your amp.
Ah, to catch the hiss from the amp and pedals themselves.
Exactly. So you're doing multi-stage noise reduction, tackling noise at the source, and the noise generated by your gain stages. It gave players way more control over signal hygiene, especially with complex setups.
That sounds really useful. But then they went even further for the really complex rigs, didn't they? With the G-string decimator?
Oh, yeah. The G-string and later the G-string 2, that was a massive leap, especially for people running high-gain tube amps with effects loops, a real pro-level solution.
So what makes the G-string different? Why is it called the G-string? Does it have anything to do with guitar strings?
No, not directly. It's about where it gets its tracking signal from. It uses what's often called the four-cable method.
Four-cable method. Okay, break that down.
So instead of just putting the pedal in one spot, the G-string has separate inputs and outputs. You run one loop that sends your direct guitar signal into the pedal's detector circuit.
Okay, so it's listening to your clean guitar sound right at the start.
Exactly. Before it hits any distortion or high-gain preamps, that's the crucial part. Then, the actual noise reduction part of the pedal, the VCA, goes into your amp's effects loop after the preamp distortion.
Wait, so it listens clean, but it gates dirty.
Precisely. And think why that matters. If a normal gate tries to track a heavily distorted signal, that signal is already compressed and full of harmonics and noise. It's hard for the gate to tell the difference between your playing and the noise sometimes.
Right, that's when you get that choppy, unnatural cutoff, especially on sustained notes.
Exactly. But the G-string is tracking your clean, dynamic guitar signal, so it knows exactly when you're playing and when you stop, even if the sound coming out of your amp's preamp is totally saturated.
Ah, so it can be much more accurate.
Way more accurate. It lets your notes sustain smoothly and naturally, but the moment your clean signal stops, it silences the hiss and hum from the amp and pedals in the loop. You don't get the chock, you keep your sustain, but you get silence in the gaps.
That makes perfect sense. It separates the detection from the reduction.
You got it. And the G-string 2 basically took that amazing functionality and added the improved tracking from the Decimator 2 plus the link capability. It's kind of the ultimate pedal version for serious high-gain rigs.
Okay, so we have the standard Decimator, the Take, and the G-string 2. What about that rack unit you mentioned earlier, the Pro Act G? Where does that fit?
Right, the Decimator Pro Rack G. That's the big beast for studios and serious touring rigs. It's a rack mount unit. Takes up space in a rack case.
Built for the pros.
Definitely. Its main advantage is being dual channel, so it can process two separate signals independently, perfect for stereo guitar rigs, or maybe processing guitar and bass, or two different sources in a studio.
More flexibility again.
And crucially, it has completely separate detection paths and processing paths for each channel. This allows for maximum accuracy and isolation between the channels. It's built for ultimate precision and reliability in demanding situations.
You can see why the pros gravitated towards these. When you look at who actually uses them, it's pretty telling.
Yeah, the user list is impressive, especially in genres that rely on tight, high-gain sounds.
We're talking metal, progressive stuff, hardcore, heavy rock. You see names like Mark Tremonti, Alter Bridge, Creed.
Huge sound relies on clarity within the game.
Misha Mansour from Periphery, famous for those super complex, tight, gent rhythms.
Absolutely. Precision is everything there. Ola England from the haunted, feared, big online presence too.
Dino Kazari's Fear Factory, the king of tight machine gun riffing.
Can't have mushy noise in that context.
And guys like Chris Broderick, when he was with Megadeth, now Active Defiance. Technically demanding stuff.
I remember Misha Mansour saying something about how essential the Decimator, probably the G string was, for his really low-tuned, intricate parts. Any extra noise would just completely mess up the clarity of those polyrhythms.
Yeah, it lets him push the gain, push the boundaries, without getting drowned in sonic sludge.
And it makes sense why these players love it, right? That fast, smooth, transparent noise reduction is just perfectly matched for the kind of gear they use. Modern high-output pickups, high-gain amps.
Yeah.
They need that precision, that clarity, even when things are really loud and saturated.
So bringing it back to you, the listener, the player, what are the practical upsides compared to maybe other noise gates you might have tried?
Well, first off, that faster attack means you don't lose the front end of your notes. No clipping of the pick attack. Your playing feels immediate, responsive.
Which is huge for feel.
Absolutely. Then the natural decay. Notes ring out and fade like they should, not just get chopped off abruptly. It sounds way more musical.
And the tone thing we mentioned, minimal impact on your actual sound.
That's a big one. It really aims to preserve your guitar's frequency response. Your carefully dialed-in tone stays your tone just without the noise.
And placement. Even the basic Decimator seconder works great just in front of the amp for simpler setups, right? You don't always need an effects loop.
Exactly. It's very effective even just first in the chain or after dirt pedals, but before the amp. But of course, the G-string models give you that advanced routing option with the 4-cable method, if your rig needs that extra level of precision, especially with amp loop noise.
It's pretty clear why it left such a mark. The Decimator's legacy is really significant, isn't it?
Undeniable. It wasn't just another noise gate. It really shifted the whole landscape. It became the benchmark, the industry standard, especially for modern high-gain players.
That one-knob simplicity on the standard models made it so accessible. Suddenly, almost anyone could get that pro-level quiet rig on their pedal board.
Totally democratized it. But then the G-string version also solidified its place in the biggest professional touring rigs. It solved a complex problem reliably for live use.
And you have to think its success pushed other companies too, right?
Absolutely. It made everyone else step up their game. Manufacturers started moving away from those older Kruger gating methods and focused more on transparent, tracking-based approaches. The Decimator really raised the bar for what players expected from noise suppression.
So if we're wrapping this up, the key takeaway is that the ISP Decimator, through its clever tech like time vector processing,
And the linearized VCA.
right, it delivered this fast, transparent, really natural-sounding noise reduction that fundamentally changed how modern high-gain guitar could sound. It brought clarity and precision that was hard to get before.
Yeah, clean things up without killing the music.
And whether you're looking at the straightforward Decimator to second for your pedal board, or the sophisticated G-string for a complex amp rig, or even the ProRab G for a studio,
There's basically a Decimator solution for almost every level of need, from bedroom playing to world tours.
where older gates might have dulled your tone or killed your sustain, the Decimator just keeps things tight, quiet, and importantly, really musical. It lets your playing shine through.
Which leads to a cool thought to leave people with, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. When you remove that technical barrier, that constant fight against unwanted noise,
Yeah.
what does that freedom unlock creatively?
Mm.
How might that ability to have intense gain and perfect silence actually push musicians towards new sounds, new textures, new ways of expressing themselves? When the noise isn't limiting you, what new sonic boundaries can be explored?
That's interesting. Does perfect silence actually enable more sonic exploration? Something to think about.